I think I might have to move it forward.
What?
I think I might have to move it forward. I just didn't really want to.
What, the camera?
No. The mic. The TV tray is crazy.
No, you know, bro, I like Nagi, but Nagi? Is that an idiot's name?
Yeah.
I like him better.
Yeah, it was.
Is he not in there?
Did you,
why do I say it like this?
Did you start recording? Oh my goodness. Now you gotta adjust yourself. Hold up. Me. Wait a minute. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the video. Welcome back to another episode of Mental Health. Yeah, I had to remember it because I was about to say Don't Starve Together. I've been playing that game a lot, so whenever I think of like a word that starts with a D, I just think Don't Starve Together.
Okay.
Great game. Great game. For those who've played it, you know. But my name is Kollin. I also go by Kollin. I am a concept/graphic artist. You'll see that I also have a link in the description. No, the about page. And then also in the description, if I get there. This is my guy over here.
Yo, what up? It's your boy B Follow. AKA the African Kid, AKA... Yeah, I've been missing a lot of AKAs lately.
You've been missing a lot of AKAs.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Go off, bro. if you want to keep on going.
No, that's all I got. That's all I got for y'all. But yeah, nah. What's up? It's your boy Benny, AKA the African Kid, AKA B Follow.
Not him repeating it.
Yeah, but my stuff should be somewhere. I don't know where.
Bro,
it's really not professional of me to not know, but I
it's
feel like
on the about page. All right.
Bro said.
Because I put it there, and then it's also probably going to be in the description if I get to it. I did it last time. The last post, which is actually, if we're going by how we're recording and how I've been behind. Sorry, guys. About a month ago. For you guys. You guys probably saw that last month. So if I've been keeping up with it, hopefully, it should be there as well. Anyway, this episode we're going to be drawing Blue Lock characters because the title of this episode is What is Your Ego? And that is the question for today. What is your ego? So, you know what show has a lot of just like showing off egoists? Blue Lock. So I'm drawing Reen over here. For those who know the character, because I bet to you guys, you just see like this really weird guy who's like sticking his tongue out like crazy on my screen. And I swear to you, it's... Actually, I don't know what it is. He's insane. He's actually mentally insane. In fact, all of the characters from Blue Lock are insane. But that's what it means to have an ego. To be a little bit insane. Right? Bars?
Bars. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not even paying attention right now.
Bro, what are you doing?
I stopped recording my iPad. I'm trying, my thing the screen keep timing out, so I forgot how to change that to make it. How do you do that?
Bro.
Display of brightness, I found it.
Bro.
Wait, hold up. 2 minutes. Auto lock. How do I change my auto lock?
I keep looking at the laptop, but the camera's actually there.
But how do I change my auto lock? Kyle, how do I change my auto lock, bro?
Okay, so
it says it right here. Too.
Right here. Right?
Yeah.
You have your battery mode, right?
Oh, that's what it is. Okay. You can continue. It was on there, bro. It was because I put my dang, I was so confused. Ugh. I am so sorry, y'all. I promise. Let me get it together. Do you want to start over?
No, I'm not starting over.
So we just go.
Yes, it's just going to keep going. But also at the same time, I am going to close the blinds because this is crazy. It's very bright.
Yeah, okay. I'm back to focus now.
Bro, continue the video while I close my blinds. It was the only way out. Chill out.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, yo, what's up? I already said that multiple times, but yeah, welcome back. Today, like you said, we're talking about what is your ego. And for those of you who did not know the show, I feel like I'm just repeating everything you just said. For those of you who do not know, Blue Lock is a soccer-based anime. I'm not going to tell you every single thing and this is not. If you want to know everything about it, watch the freaking show. But yeah, basically they're all just trying to find out what their ego is, which in simpler terms means just like what drives you to do what you do, like what drives you to be better, what is your reason, you know, in their I guess example, what is your reason for wanting to play soccer. So
Type.
yeah, so you know, we're trying to figure out what our ego is, you know, what drives us to want to do the things that we want to do, what drive us to want to create this channel, you know, even though you should already know if you watched the first episode. But yeah, so for our prompt today, we are drawing the character from Blue Lock. I'm doing Bachiro. I really feel like I say his name wrong, but
Nah, bro.
But yeah, no, that's what I'm doing. That my main, he's not my favorite character, but I like him because he got a monster in him, metaphorically speaking. What?
You got a monster in him. Pause. No diddy. Okay, bro.
Bro got
okay.
a demon in him. I'm saying. I'm trying to
Okay.
get like him for real, bro.
So,
I'm not gonna lie.
what really brought this topic along is I was having a conversation with my dad not too long ago, and it's not the conversation itself that started the idea, but the thoughts that I had before the conversation and what drove it to continue. And basically, it was the fact that like when I went to school, in high school, we had the words "college or die" written on our wall. That was the premise behind the whole school. That's what really brought the education to be so sought after or so high caliber, in quotations. So basically, ever since I was in high school, I was told, yeah, you're going to college. But that was not my idea. I never had the idea of going to college. In fact, I would argue that I never had an original idea in high school. I don't think there was any originality behind what that school was about because you had to wear uniforms. We were all kind of the same person, basically. We were like, you have to have your hair cut a specific length. You had to wear this uniform. You had to have specific shoes. You had to walk down the hallways a specific way. We had a scholar's creed. It was insane. I would compare it to military school, but I digress. Ever since then, ever since that high school experience, I was told, okay, I have to go to college. So I went to Ball State, but when I went to Ball State, I didn't really have an idea of like what I wanted to do. I think I kind of like chose something that was like around the area that I was supposed to be good at because I did a lot of it, which was animation. Like I did a lot of drawing. So I was like, oh, I could do animation. Maybe it'll be cool. Went there for it. Realized immediately I do not have the passion for it. Not the same type of passion that other people had. And eventually I got back around to it. But I said all that to say that whenever I really think about my passion for art or like what that's supposed to look like, I don't really think of it as a passion. I think of it as like a means to get somewhere and improve in an aspect of life. And I mean that in the terms of like I chose it to go to college. Like this is the thing that I'm choosing because I don't know any other way of life, nor would I be inspired to go towards anything else. And I don't really see it as a passion. I see it more of like, yeah, this is what I ended up doing. This is what my life led me to, because I didn't really have anything else that I was really praised about, or I was praised in education. Like, I learned well, but I don't think that's something to be like, oh yeah, that's my passion. My passion is learning. It could be, but like, I don't think it was. In fact, the only thing that I was passionate about was going back home, watching my anime, and then playing my games. But mainly going back home. I was not there for school. You really think I'm going down my life being like, oh yeah, school is my passion? No, not at all. And I think when it comes to finding your passion, it's a facet of what your ego is, at least from my perspective, because like I said, I didn't really have passion for what I was doing. But when I try to remember back to like what would be my passion now, or like what would be if I were to like start from zero, like I mentioned before this video, if I were to start back at zero, what would be my passion be, or what would my passion be, and how would I move? Like, what would be the movement? I think it's kind of like in helping others. Other than that, I really wouldn't say that I have too big of a passion, or too big of an ego, too much of a drive. Just kind of like, what would be helpful, and how can I turn my skills into something that could help? And that's my drive. I think that's my ego.
That's so amazing. That's really amazing. I'm not being sarcastic. But that's really amazing, you know? You're trying to help people. You're one of them.
Okay, bro.
That's wild. I never thought I'd have friends like that. That's a lot. But for me, I feel like it falls in the same category. I don't really have a big ego. That's a lie. I do have a huge ego, and not in the sense of actually, you know, my ego actually being big, but in the sense of drive and stuff like that. Like, I always been really ambitious, with being, you know, goal orientated, and I always have something, you know, things that I wanted to do with my life. As we mentioned in one of our earlier video, when he called me a collector. Yeah, so like I always kind of like collect different paths. I try different things, and if it doesn't work out for me, then I'm like, hey, I got a story. I recently wanted to be a firefighter. I feel, did we talk about that in one of the videos? Was I just talking to you about that in personal?
I think it was one of the videos.
But yeah, if it was, you know, if it was one of the videos, then if you saw, you saw. But I wanted to be a firefighter. I had my own reason, of course. I don't want to talk about the main reason, because then I'll probably be locked up. But you know, it's just, you know, I like fire. I do like fire. I said it. But like, that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, I want to do this. But also because I don't know, I actually wanted to just see how it is, you know, what they go through on a daily basis, and I wanted to live that part of, you know, that life, just so I can kind of like just see how they feel when they go through burning fire, like the things that they gotta do, in order to make sure other people don't die a fiery death. that was my drive at that time. I'm like, I want to try this. Like, that's my ego for right now. I wanna see what it's like to be in their shoes. And then, I moved on. I'm like, maybe we might come back there later and down the future, but not right now. But for right now, though, everything that I always wanted to be, I never really knew what my ego was. At least on the surface, but deep inside has always been like, I do wanna try new things. I wanna live different life and try different experiences and not be restricted to just one thing. Like, for some people who's like, I want to be a teacher. That's all they want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Having a single-minded goal, as long as that's what you want to do, and you have your own reason for doing it. That's amazing. Go for you. Good for you. I say go for you. Good for you. But for me, it's always been more like, I always want, like, my mind always kind of like goes different paths. So 1 minute I'm like, I want to be an animator, and I go through the process to do it. I teach myself the things that I need to teach, and I try it out, and I do whatever. Then the next time I'm like, that was great, that was fun, I had a blast. And if I dance, like, whatever, now I want to do this, and I go through that. I learn how to do it, I get good at it, and then I try something else. So I guess my ego is constantly wanting to grow and experience new things. Would you say that's like a fair assumption of like everything that I just said? Like, do you think that's kind of like? No, I don't. Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. See, me personally, I feel like your ego has to be a way where you just kind of like always gravitate towards a certain direction. Like, if I were to say I want to help people and that's my ego, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of what I'm doing, I'm focusing on that and nothing else. When I worked someplace, all I focused on was helping the customer, right? When I worked another place, all I focused on was how can I help the teens grow, When I worked at another place, I was like, okay, what type of community can I build to help people feel at ease, It's always going to be my focus.
Okay, but I feel like with what I just said, my focus, one can argue that my focus is mainly on like, what can I do to succeed in this area. I don't know. It made no type of sense to me when I said it out loud. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought about it in my head, and I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense. And then when it came out of my mouth, I'm like, wait, that's not what we thought about. So like, I'm confused. Anyway, I'm confused about my ego then, I guess.
Bro doesn't even know what his ego is.
At that point, my ego is trying to find out my ego. Like, I feel like we can go with that. Just like leave it at that, cause,
bro,
you know what I mean.
See, if I were a therapist, right?
But you're not.
And I'm trying to diagnose you, bro. What I would say, your ego is what can be the most fun to make this, like, or what? That English didn't make sense.
Exactly.
What can I do to make this the most fun? What can I do to do blank?
Okay, but not everything. But what? Okay, like me wanting to do firefighter. Like, there's no. Where did you get the fun from that?
Oh, I use fun as a way to cover up a less sunny word, bro.
What is the sunny? What is the sunny word? No, man, what is the sunny word? Because now I want to know.
The sunny word is fun. What is the less sunny word?
You say what are you using fun to replace? What is fun replacing in this
What can I do to make this the most chaotic way possible?
Okay, hold on a second now. Okay, wait. Where did you get that from? Me saying I want to try.
Bro, you said you wanted to do firefighting because of the fire.
Okay. Look. First of all, I wanted to try it because I have a. I'm not a pirate. I promise. Like, I'm not an arson. I just like fire. I just like fire. I just think they're beautiful, Like, they can do so much. They can even heal. I'm just saying. A lot of people don't... I'm not teaching guys about fire right now. But, no, it's not even like that. Yes, that's a part of it. There's always that chaotic thing in my head. In my head that's like, I want to do this because it has this kind of, attribute. And for that is, fire's cool. You get burned, whatever here and there, but it's cool.
You get burned here and there. But also,
I want to do it because
3rd degree, that's nothing.
It's not. I want to do it because I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued, like how they go through that. Like I know everybody has their own vision. Everybody has their own reason for doing, what they're doing. But I'm intrigued to know why. Why are they risking their life to run through, buildings and stuff like that? And it could be as simple as because they want to help people out and things like that. But I'm like, I want to see the process. I want to live that. I want to live that type of, that type of life. Put myself in their shoes for a week, 2 week, year, whatever. I want to go through that step. I want to feel how they feel when they go through all of that. And that's the same thing with me. My first time talking about I wanted to be an artist because I want to be able to create my own universe, basically. Create my own little universe, fill it with characters and do things that push the boundaries of reality, things that we can't really do in reality. I want to push that limit with my art, and that's why I wanted to do art. That's the first thing the reason why I wanted to learn art in the first place. It changed over time, but that's kind of the reason why I went through doing art. And that's in the same thing with all the things that I want to do. There's always an underlying chaotic reason behind it, at least in there somewhere. But it's always I want to experience it. I want to see what it takes to do that, and the people who's doing it, what they had to go through, and things of that nature to actually do what they're doing. So what would you say my ego is for that? Because you can't say it's chaotic anymore.
I would say
therapist.
I would say that your ego is to explore. Push boundaries, maybe.
You look. Are you asking me?
I am asking you.
But you're a therapist, though. Why are you asking me? After I told
you,
therapists
don't. Fuck it.
I just feel like as a therapist, I'm over here asking you questions. It's really disrespectful for you to ask me back.
I think therapists don't, sit here and give you a full-on diagnosis as soon as you go to them. I'm personally somebody who's been through therapy quite a few times.
Me too.
Quite a few times.
I mean, I went through I think
once.
No, not once. Let's not do that because I went through it at the end of the semester of college.
Okay.
So I went through it there that whole semester. So I went one semester.
And
I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. When I did that too, I also gonna realize I actually wanted to see how it felt like to do therapy. So Yeah, that's what my ego did. It said, "Hey, we got stuff that we need to talk about. Let's check it out and see what's the fuss about, you know." So I guess like yeah, my ego is exploring. I like trying different things and exploring and kind of just seeing how people feel.
Why, Biddy? Why actually?
Why?
Yeah, why is that your ego?
What do you mean?
Why is that your ego?
Well, no, what do you mean? Why is that my ego?
Like, why do you like exploring how other people feel?
Because I feel like we get so wrapped up into our own like little bubble that we created, and we're not. And I guess like we're not exposed to how the person next to you views life. You know, like we see different profession, and we think about it. You know, for example, like I was talking to my little sister about, you know, like my major at the time. You know how hard it was, you know, to everything that we were going through, and kind of like all the late nights and things like that. And she said, well, that's nothing compared to, you know, being a nurse, like a nursing majors. And I'm like, that's valid, but also at the same time, we have our own struggle that you guys don't understand, and it may seem like is not such a big struggle to you, but if I were to put you in my area where I am right now, you will find it really hard, really, you know, like tough, because it's something that you never done before, and being expected to, not even being expected to, like being in there late nights from freaking 9 a.m. till 5, 6, or until the next night, and then you know, on top of that, going to your other classes. It's like that's still too much though. And then on top of that, as a nurse, not knocking nurse, or not even nurse in general, like the other majors that was there, you know, in school, they don't have to really, like, they study. They need to study. But at the same time, like, they can get away with not studying and just going in the next day just to take the test. See, we can't do that. And with homework too, like, they can hit it, like, if they don't do homework for the rest of the week, and then like on the night that is due, they can get away with actually finishing it on that same night, you know, and actually get an A for it, or even a B. But like for us, we can't do that. We have to start like weeks ahead, and on top of that, we have to account for the fact that if we get technology issues, if we lose our data that we saved, and we go through our backup and we find out that our backup is corrupted, and then if we had another backup for the backup, then we go there and we find out that certain things are missing, then we have to start over. And starting over in animation, especially when your stuff is due in 2 days, that's a whole process. Because you have to sit there the whole time and do every single work and knock it out and try to make it the best you can. But also you gotta realize you may have a job. You're a student. You may work somewhere and you gotta go work, or you have other responsibility, which is school and other things. So it's like a whole issue. So for me, I kind of always kind of like I don't know when I started doing it, but like I enjoy learning about what other people are going through. I may not care about other people like that, but I like just learning about them. You know, like learning about, hey, that's how your major is. Like, that's the things that you gotta go through. Like, I don't want to go through it, but I also want to try it out and see how it works. That's probably why I tried so many different majors before I stuck with animation. Because I did Homeland Security. I tried that boy for a minute. Like, it was cool. I learned a lot. I got certified to do certain things that, a lot of people around me aren't certified to do. And I may not have actually done the job to see exactly how they live day-to-day basis, but I got a glimpse into it. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I would want to try that one day. Not today. And then I moved on and I tried different things. And I don't know, I feel like that's just like, it builds life experience. It gives you a broader understanding of how other people feel and what drives different people to do their different profession. And you get a better appreciation of everybody else's work. And you just don't view yours like, well, I'm a doctor, so my work must be really hard. Which, and again, not knocking doctors, because I'm not going to be, I don't want to be a doctor. I might kill somebody.
Oh.
I'll be honest, you have too much power on your hand. But it's also restricted, but you also have the power to kill somebody or save them. So that's what my ego is turning to, like exploring and just just venturing off. Like, I don't want to do one thing. For me, they just sound boring. Like having one profession that I just do until the day I die. That's just like I get bored so easily. Like, I want to do different things. I want to grow. I want to experience what's out there. I want to take risks, even if there's a chance that it's not going to end up the way I want it to. You know. And you already that's crazy, bro. You already that far. I'm sure.
Yeah, bro.
Now I'm drawing. I gotta lock in.
See, I think because of my huh?
No, I was like about my they call it baking. Like I gotta outline it. Sure, go ahead. I'm changing my style too, so I'm just trying to try a different style. But go ahead.
I think because of how I understand Blue Lock. Okay, guys, hear me out. I understand I sound like a fanatic right now, but hear me out. Because of the way that I just see, at least fictional stories, it's really easy to dive into how characters feel and how they like carry themselves. So that's why whenever I see a project as cool and crazy as Blue Lock is, I start to really want to understand what really happens in the show and just like the mindset of the character. So in terms of like my understanding what like an ego is and like how it kind of like carries out within that story, at least it's all tied to your past. Everything that you've experienced forms your ego. And the whole premise behind the last arc has been, where does your ego come from? What is your original ego? If you were to go down to zero, what would be your original ego? And how has it come about? And for me, I don't think my original ego is helping people. I think my original ego is getting attention. I really liked it, and I still do really like it. And what really happens when I feel like I'm helping somebody is I'm gaining the ability to change their lives. And that is what drives my ego. Gaining the ability to change a life. And I never really had that growing up. Or as what I really wanted to do growing up as well. Because at the same time I have a little brother. And I tried to help him a lot when I was growing up as well. So when I think about like what my original ego is, I think I helped to gain freedom, to gain the bliss that I wanted. And that's what drives my original ego, to like have that bliss of just like changing somebody's life.
So that's your original ego?
I like to think so. If I were to like remember like the guy that I'm drawing right now, right? If for those who don't know Rini Toshi, he's he's insane. Not clinically, but honestly, he should be. Because basically, the foundation of his original ego is that he wants to bring out the best in somebody else so he can face them at their best. And that whenever he gets to fight somebody or like to play against somebody who's playing at their best, he wants to bring his best to crush them. So that doesn't mean like, or that means if he gets a nosebleed or like his arm breaks or like something happens to where he's like completely demolished, he does not care, as long as he can continue to play in that state. And that is his original ego. He wants to crush somebody who's supposed to be stronger than him. And if I were to say like I have an original ego and use the same premise, I'd say it's that. Like,
you want to crush somebody?
No, I don't want to crush anybody. I want to change somebody's life.
Okay. That's valid. Okay, I guess for me, if we're talking about my original ego, oof, I'm not trying to get too deep, so I never want to be seen. So like, that's kind of how I feel like that's growing up in a traditional African household. I was always seen to act like my parents always seen me in a way where it was like they saw this is my son who's supposed to do all of this stuff. Like you're supposed to be the one where your sisters are going to look up to. You're supposed to be the one where when your sister have kids, their kids are gonna look up to you. So you need money. You need to find a great job. You need to find a good wife. You need to do all of this stuff. So all of those expectations were put on me because that's what they saw me to be. At least they hoped that I would become. And taking on that expectation as a kid, it was really weighing on me. So I developed a sense where I'm like, I don't want to be seen anymore. And the only way I knew how not to be seen was to explore different things. So like, which, it kind of makes sense, but like, I like exploring things. And I like doing things, risky things, because I was like, well, I already have to play a certain role, so let me play this certain role. Like, instead of, if I do all of this crazy stuff, people aren't going to see who I really am. They're going to see the dude who does parkour, the dude who is out here jumping on cars and jumping on buildings and stuff like that. So therefore, I guess it kind of shifted to me learning how to talk to people, me learning how to read people. Even though I didn't like it, it wasn't my first go-to. Like, I got bored off of it. But like, if I learn about you and I get you to tell me things about yourself, you're not going to ask me a question about me. So therefore, you're not going to actually see the true me. You're just going to accept whatever I give you. Because at that point, I'm already, learning more about you. So I get to use what I learned about you to create a narrative to where that's what you see when you look at me. The amount of names I had growing up is crazy. Like, if you go back to my 10 years to like 19 years old and you ask different people that I met, hey, what's his name? They'll tell you like 5 different names.
Jonathan?
Huh? Sure. They tell you like 5 different names, and none of those names were ever Benny. Like, that's just who I am, because I developed different method. I developed different persona. Yeah, method, different persona, different, whatever. And each of that personality, they all do different things. they act differently. They tried different things. Some personality, one of them, he wanted to do homeland security. He went through the process. He learned it. Creating himself in a way where if you looked at him, then you'd be like, yeah, I see why you want to do homeland security. The other one, he wanted to be an inventor, invent new things, create a whole backstory. And then if you looked at him and you see, and I even had a journal of all the inventions that I wanted to make, and I even went about trying to build certain things. Not a lot of people know that. But like, if you look at him and I see all of this, the things that I had around that area of my life, you will see it. Oh, so you just want to help people, then you just want to create an invention and do all of this, great stuff or whatever. But at the end of it, that's not really it. That's just a narrative I built around that area in my life because I got tired of people telling me what they wanted me to be. So it's in order to grab control of that, I decided to shift it and manipulate, not manipulate people in general, but manipulate my surrounding. So people actually viewed me as this is what he wanted to be because I crafted that. So I crafted that scenario for them. So I'm still in control. I'm really not, but So like for me, that's originally that's where my original ego strength from. The fact that I'm got tired of being seen as I got tired of carrying all this weight and all of your expectation. Because if I fail, then you see me as a disappointment. So in order to protect that little child inside of me who's like, I don't want to be a disappointment. I want to do things that I want to do. I decided to lock that part away and be like, well, let's just start playing everybody else then. Let's give them what they think they want to see from me. While we work in the background and try to just do our own thing. So, yeah, my not being seen, that's my original ego, man. That's what drove me.
Dang, man. I'm out here drawing Ring's tongue right now. It's looking kind of long, not gonna lie.
That's wild.
But when I think of like what he was like during the game, like the match that I'm drawing it from, that thing was out.
Oh no, it was way out.
It was out and it was moving.
And see, I feel like that's kind of why I like Buckshiro. I mean, we may not have the same type of ego because his ego, he just wanted a friend. Bro really just wanted somebody to play soccer with and just do things with. That's why he created that monster in him. But like, I feel like me, I also created a monster growing up, and that was the only monster that truly saw me. Like we built some type of connection. So whether it was just a different personality that I created, but like through all of that stuff, I had something in me that was like, hey, I see you. I see who you really are. And sometimes it got corrupted. I'm be straight up honest with you. Sometimes I view myself as a monster. I'm like, well, yeah, I want to kill half of y'all. Respectfully. Oh. I went through a whole... Yes. I went through a whole... I don't know how you can do that. I went through a whole phase where like I always felt like I had a monster inside of me that was trying to come out, but didn't know how. Matter of fact, scratch that. Let's reverse. I felt like there was a part of me that wanted to come out like the real me, but I spent so much time being somebody else and pretending to be all different, creating all this different persona, that I decided to twist the person who wanted to come out and twist it into a monster, so that I can have a reasonable excuse to be like, I'm not letting you out because I don't want you to ruin everything that I created, So I started creating it, twisting it into a monster, and so I had that with me for the longest. And believe it or not, it kept me sane, But yeah, I feel like that's kind of why I like him, because he has a monster inside of him who he created, but to just do the opposite of what Mike was designed to do. He just wanted a friend, so the monster kept him. It kept them with the illusion that you have a friend. That the only way we can get friends if we find other monsters like us. And that's the reason why he wanted Ishigi. He wanted to be Ishigi's friend so bad, because he saw a monster in him, but really it was just his own instinct and his own gut feelings that got him so far. He just used that as just create a separate entity so he doesn't feel alone. But yeah. Dang, am I saying I was alone?
Yeah.
That's wild. But I liked it though. That was crazy. Oh. Yeah, man. I just wanted to be. I got a monster in me. Whoa.
See, when I think about like why I wanted to. What are the words I literally just used? I already forgot. That was a question.
What?
I was saying my original ego, and I was like that I wanted to change somebody's life. I know I didn't say those words, but did I say those words? I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, you want to change somebody else. Yeah, you said that.
The reason why I think that's my original ego is because to me I felt invaluable. So everything I did was to find value in myself and what I do and the things around me. And I know there's value in me if I can change somebody's life.
Yeah.
And that's really what I search for, the value in myself. Like, what can I do? How can I change the world around me? And then it changed into what I do now. What can I do to, like, change somebody's life? What can I, like, what's the next thing to, you know, keep doing? My, keep, feeding my ego, you know? Because whenever you have an ego, it has a hunger. So you gotta feed it. And that's what feeds my ego.
Yeah, one feed my ego is just, exploring now. Which I feel like is more healthy than, how I've been dealing with it so far. But yeah, man, I mean, me and my ego, we be chilling. He's annoying though. It's really annoying. Because even right now, like, I'm doing stuff that I'm, like, with the job that I'm working right now, I already told you, but I'm like, I don't think this job is for me. Like, helping these people, I don't think it's for me. Like, what if I make a mistake? What if I do something where, it does more harm to these kids than it does them good in the future?
Yeah.
And, like, that's a big thing, because lately I've been more into, like, I guess, like, focusing on helping, like, the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of, like, just, so they don't have to, not repeat, but at least they don't have to go through some of the stuff that we went through. And they can at least have some type of guide if they do go through this stuff. And now working at this job is like, well, what if I mess that up? I know my ego, if that's what we want to call it. I know my ego got me into here. My ego made me work hard enough to present myself in a way where it's like, I want to try this new thing. It may not be my passion in the future, but it's what I want to do right now, and I want to try, and I want to see what kind of impact I can leave on these kids and kind of help them and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, they're just kids. Kids dealing with autism and all of this stuff, and it's like, that in itself is already hard. But at the fact that you're a kid and you have to deal with it, and you feel like you don't have any kind of control over being a kid anyway, period.
Yeah.
And people already, like, parents and people older than you already see you as like, well, you're just a kid, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, your emotions or whatever that you're going through, it's not really valid right now. Like, it doesn't matter yet. And it's just like, that's tough.
Yeah.
On top of it, you're dealing with something else on top of it that not a lot of people understand and know how to help you with. And you're expected to figure it out on your own while dealing with the the while dealing with the hardship of society and everything that's going to be thrown at you, and you're like 8 years old, or like 5, 10, like that's messed up. Well, you know, and I'm like, and for me, and just learning about this kids is like some of this kids' home life. I'm like, bro, that is really, I don't like that. Like, it sucks. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be the one who messed it up for them and make them worse, you know. Not that saying that, you know, they're worse, but make them at least hinder their learning. Like, that's a better word. So yeah, like right now my ego is like, yeah, let's give this a try. I want to do this because I want to see what I can do for this kids. And for me, it always changes. So like I guess the main underline for my ego is always like, I want to try something new. I want to live this life. Like, a parallel universe me, you know, like them if they were doing this type of job, I want to see how it feels like. So let me live it too, and create that reality if it's not already out there in the multiverse. Because I believe in multiverse theory. I believe that is a thing. but yeah, no. So you know, that's my ego. But once I get into it, it always has to be a different meaning behind that. It can't just be I want to do it because I want to see how that feels. For this one, it's like I want to do it because I want to leave an impact on this kids.
Yeah.
So that's what drove me. You know, that's the mix of my original ego and this ego. I'm like, hey, I create different egos, different jobs that I take. My last job, I just wanted to do because I was bored, and I heard fancy cars. I wanted to drive fast. I want to drive those cars. That sounds that ego was pure. I just want to drive new cars. I just want to try it. That was just that ego. It wasn't anything meaningful behind it. I just didn't care. But yeah, man.
Well, guys, I drew my ring.
Yeah, but like, dang, why are you so? The fact that you like, like, see, this is why I'm a slow artist, bro. Like, I don't like, I sketch it out, but I want it to look so like the finished piece. But I'm like, ugh. Cause I'm drawing him as a half monster. I'm mixing them together.
My egoist. Well, not my egoist. Chill out. I mean that way.
Okay.
I did not mean it that way.
You did say it, though.
I don't even like green like that. In fact.
So who is your character?
Bara.
Oh, you did say that. Donkey. I was calling everybody.
Get out of my way, donkey.
Here's the fact of it. Listen, that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Bro, I'd be like, who are you calling king?
Exactly, bro. Like, I'm not even.
Who do you think you are?
It's the fact that it's the fact that Ishigi started calling him king. That's the crazy part. I'm like, sir, I get what you're doing here, but like, I'm not doing that, bro. I don't care if that's the only way he responds. Dude, I'm not talking to you, bro. But then you need to talk to him, though. So you can, you know.
Yeah, if he's a teammate, you know, you gotta talk to him.
Yeah, so I guess you gotta meet him where he's at. He may be a little insane, but
here I'll even put in more details to extend it. But yeah, in my humble opinion, I think your ego is kind of like something that is more than just what people constantly say. Like, I remember when I was talking to my girlfriend, she was like,
my girlfriend?
she was like, having an ego is bad. You don't want that. And I was like, well, actually, I think everybody has an ego. It's just that we've made it into a way where, like, the connotation and, like, when we talk about it, it's typically bad. Like, oh, he has an ego, you know? Like, when somebody says that, you're like, oh, damn, that means he's a, you know, terrible person. But in reality, everybody has an ego. And I think that's kind of like your driving factor for like most of the things that you do. If you don't know what it is, then it's harder to like really find your way in like some sticky situations. It's like, dang, I want to do this, but I also want to do that. But if you like know your ego, right, and what typically resonates with you the most, then you already know the answer. And I think that type of thing is, you know, really helpful. Because right now, I'm going through a tough time, just personally. And knowing what my ego is kind of like, man, regardless of which option I choose, now that I'm able to like freely think about it and what would actually resonate with me, I think I know that is going to be an option that I can live with. Because if you're always like, oh, I want to do this because, you know, this is something that I just think would be good for me, then it's like, well, you don't know if it's going to be good for you. You know what is good for you, but you still go in directions that, like, obviously they're not going to work unless things just go perfectly, which they never do. So
and I also feel like at this point I'm just talking because I want to give myself time, but like, cause I'm almost done, bro. Like, don't do that. Like, oh.
Here, bro, I'm adding sweat and everything, bro.
Oh, shut up.
I'm going crazy. Should I add him some? Should I give him some hair too, or some hair color?
My hair?
Some hair color.
No, Kollin, why do you always try to see? It's people like you that makes me not want to talk to people like you.
What? What are you talking about?
Exactly. Like, you always trying to do stuff. Like, dang, man. I always trying to be better.
Yep. Absolutely. I am trying to be better.
You say you ain't?
I am trying to be better than the me yesterday.
Bars. Look at you cooking. So how you think that's working out for you, man? You think you... Like, how do you go by trying to be better? See, this is not even part of the ego. It might be. How do you go, you know? What do you define as being better than who you were yesterday? Not last year, yesterday.
So, how I define it, me personally, whenever you have an idea, a new mental state, right? A new process of thought, you can either be better or worse. If my new process of thought, like, let's say I'm like Barrow. I'm like, I'm king. I I'm the best in the world. I am the king. Nobody's better than me, right? That's the mentality I have. And in some people's eyes, you're like, dang, you know, it gets no better than that. But I think whenever you match the mental with everything else you have going on, like all of your all of the things that make you a person, makes you unique, when you add it all up, that's when your utility and your uniqueness shines. That's when you start to improve, or that's where you start to be able to measure your growth as a person. So like, Barrow is like, I'm king, best in the world, nobody's better than me. And then he gets scored on again and again. You wanna know why? Not because he's a terrible player, but because he had the mentality of like, I'm not working with you. You don't help me. I am the king. Alright? Just follow what I say. But now he has the mentality of like, I'm going to recreate myself again and again because I want to be king. I want to be the best in the world. And those around me that don't bend the knee, I'll make them bend the knee. And that's a way better mentality.
Yeah.
So, as long as you grow in some facet in your life, you're always better than you were yesterday. And right now, I'm better than I was yesterday because, I am king.
Okay. Okay. I'm not calling you that. You're not making me bend a knee, respectfully, sir. So, okay. You can call yourself king if you want. Oh, look at you. I'm like, shut up, Kollin. Period!
Bro, you're still not done with that?
Oh, okay. No, I am.
Oh, you are?
It's just, it's just like I haven't, yeah.
Okay, guys.
Wait, hold on. What are you doing? What are we doing?
I was going to show the camera and be like, yeah, I'm done, guys. Here, I'll even write his name in the corner. Oh, wait.
I really don't know where I saw this style, but I'm trying it. And it just don't look like.
Oh, snap!
Is that a vein, bro?
Oh, snap!
Oh, look at that. The muscle got a vein. I did not know that. Let's. It'll look dope if I actually. Oh no, that's we don't. Whoa, we don't want that. Hold up. Huh? Why am I not erasing it? Wrong lane.
I know you can't see that, guys, but
Kollin actually did his thing, man. I'm proud of him.
Rin Itoshi.
I'm trying to be like you when I grow up. Not really, but
I haven't drawn in forever.
Me too.
Oh.
Well, you thought I was gonna say I have just because I'm a character designer and stuff like. I told you, I've been shifting gear lately. I have not drawn in a minute. Like I lost my speed, which I'm like, it's okay, I guess. But
I lost my speed too. Except, I think now I've got into the mindset of I don't care what I end up with as long as I end it.
That's amazing for you, but see the thing is though, I am one of those people who I draw, and I need it to look exactly how I need it to look, and that's not a good thing sometimes. But I'm like, I can't draw stick figures now because I don't like it. Because if I draw a stick figure, I gotta make it into something else. So
that is unfortunate, man.
And that's why that's my old style. But that's why I'm changing a different style every time we, at least I'm trying to change a different style every time we do a video. Because, I'm trying to be better. But anyway, I'm done.
Than it was yesterday.
I'm done. Dang, I forgot the soccer part, but like.
Okay. Yeah.
I simplify it, Because if I was to draw my style, we would still be here. I would not be done. You know how I saw it goes. I would not be done.
Do you like my Rin Itoshi?
Yeah, man. Look at that. Rin Itoshi. I can't spell his name, so I'm not gonna write it.
Here, bro. I got you.
Half monster, half bug. Bro, that's not even his name. Did you write his whole last name?
Yeah.
First and last name?
Yeah, Meguru Bachira.
But you didn't write the monster, though. What's the monster?
Go, my egoist.
Yeah, right. I need to start posting this stuff though. Do you want to create a page for this?
We could.
Where we just post all the stuff we drawing that we make.
We could.
Alright, yeah, okay. That's what we do. Yeah, cause I want to do it, but then I'm like, I don't want to post this on my regular page drawing. Which is nothing wrong with it, but I'm like, you know. Yeah, man.
Yeah. You can always post it on both. Be like, I made this on our great channel, great and amazing channel.
What is your ego? What was this title? What is your ego? I'm writing that right there because when I post it, it's gonna be like that. What's your ego? But anyway, yeah, that was about it.
Yeah. Guys, in the comments, tell me, what is your ego? What is your original ego? What is your ego now? What is the driving factor for your ego? What's your hunger? You know, all of that. I want to know.
I want to know too.
And maybe I can help you.
Yeah, I want to know too, but not as much as he does.
Maybe I can, you know, mold you into a new you.
Okay, that sounds really like that sounds really. You know, that sounds really. I'm not even gonna say anyway.
Maybe I can change your life.
It's okay. That when you don't listen, but yeah, man. Let us know what's your ego.
My value got it.
Anyway, yeah. See you guys in the next.
Drop a like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe. See you guys in the next video.
Deuces.
Yapping.